Hey guys, welcome back to Panda Boop Creates. I'm Andrea. So one of the first questions that you have might be, how do I start? What project do I work on? How do I get files? How do I make my own projects? And that's what this video is about today. I'm going to show you where to find some projects that are already ready-made. I'm going to show you where to find some SVGs that are already made, and how to make your own SVGs from files that you find on Google. So let's get started. So as you can see on my right hand side here, there are all these Cricut Access projects. So these projects are ready to be made. You can click on them, you can customize it to make it however you want it, or you can straight just make it. If you go to customize, it'll show you, once my computer takes 10 years to load, it'll show you all the different layers, what sizes they are. Oopsies. And if you want to resize it, or you want to make it different colors or whatever, you can do that. But usually you can just straight up make it as long as it's the appropriate size for you. So as I showed you in the Cricut Access video, there's also images, text, all that jazz that you can get from Cricut Access. There's also ones that aren't Access. So there's ones that you can get for free that you don't have to have the additional subscription for, but there's just more options with Access. So these are ready to make, these are ready SVGs. So if I insert the image, it's ready to be cut. It already knows the outline and everything. You don't have to do anything to it. It's nice like that. And this is if you want to make your own. So if you wanted to put your own project together with a bunch of pictures and shapes and text and whatnot, you could do that using these images. It's not a separate project. The difference is that this one in the background is already its own project. You don't have to do anything to it. This picture would be if you wanted to make your own project and needed pictures to help make that happen. To make your own picture, find an image you like and you save it. Go desktop, save, and then we'll come here to upload. We'll upload an image, we'll find that image, we'll open it, and you have to pick if it's simple, moderate, or complex. In this case, it's very simple. It's got 2 colors. I don't need it to cut this white out because it already has an outline, so it works perfectly, and I'll just leave it like that. For other images, you might need moderate or complex. It really depends. And it also shows you, if you click on it, like a preview of what would happen. And then you have to erase the background. So if you left this as white, it would cut a white square. But if you delete it so it's transparent, then all you end up getting is this black. The black is the only thing that's going to be cut. So it ends up being the shape that you want it to be. So you hit continue, you can see that this is what it'll cut. This is print and cut, so this is if you want to print it onto printable vinyl, so maybe a sticker for instance, and then it'll cut around it to be the shape that you want it to be. In this case, I would want it to cut so that I can cut it in vinyl, just regular vinyl, or heat transfer vinyl for instance, or maybe I want to cut this shape in cardstock for some reason. That's how I would do it. And I would save it as something that I can remember. Panda or Panda Unicorn or something like that is the obvious choice here. And then you can make tags. Again, it makes it easier to find it later. I don't have enough projects currently that I need to use the tags to find anything, but as time goes on, obviously it's going to get harder and harder to find your past projects. So it's good to try to do it now while you still can. And then you just hit save. And now it showed up for me. And I can click on it and I can insert the image. And there's my SVG. So now you can see it's not very great because it's got the little dimples. So I would usually spend way more time trying to smooth this out than I did this time around. But you get the idea. So it will cut everything that is black here. So this in the middle here won't have anything. This is all void space. And that's how you make your own cut file. If you wanted to, say, use this to score, draw, engrave, deboss into something, you can do that as well. So say I want to engrave this panda into acrylic. That's the outline that it'll engrave. It only engraves outlines though. It's not going to like engrave the center here. That's why you don't see it filled in anymore. The same would happen with this panda. It would only engrave those lines into the acrylic. And lastly, you can go on Etsy to find already ready-made SVGs. So they're not ready to make projects necessarily. They can be just SVGs, like pictures of something, or like this where it's an actual ready to make project. It'll give you every single layer that you need to make this. It'll tell you the order in which you have to layer it so that it's correct. It won't give you the clock hands. It'll just give you the file. You have to then cut the file, and then you have to put it all together and buy clock hands and all that stuff. But it'll give you every layer you need, because this is probably about 7 layers, I think. And you have to cut them all individually. So instead of you drawing every single thing in here, trying to figure out sizes, trying to figure out cut spaces and all that, it's ready to go. You don't have to figure out how to make this. You just have to pay the $9.45, download it, and cut it out using your Cricut and put it all together. It's a much simpler, faster way to do the more complex projects. Same with Cricut Access. It's a much faster way to do complex projects that, especially as a beginner, you'll have no idea how to make. And even if you have an idea, it'll take you forever to execute the idea, because especially in design space, it is not meant for you to be designing projects, even though the name would suggest that. You design it in like Illustrator and bring the SVG file over. That's usually the easiest way, unless it's something super simple like this panda. Most of the time you're not doing it in design space. But those are your options. Your options are to take an image from Google or wherever, convert it into an SVG, just like I showed you by uploading it. Buy something off of Etsy, whether that's an image that's already an SVG or an actual ready-to-make project. And the same with Cricut Access. You can buy an image that's an SVG or a ready-to-make project. There are ones that aren't Cricut Access, but they're harder to find. And there's way more options with Access. And that's it. And I hope you have learned something. I hope that you have a little more understanding of how to make your own project if you want to start. I definitely recommend trying the ready-to-make projects first and working your way up to making your own. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram.